Senior Congress leader Digvijaya Singh has been severely criticised today for tweeting a meme that attacks Prime Minister Modi with crude abuses. The BJP responded saying that this is showing his diseased mind. This just as the Congress, along with others, has been demanding that the Prime Minister block abusers and haters who have been in the limelight after spewing venom on Gauri Lankesh's death, threatening and some very dangerous tweets.
I have said, this is not mine. What they are showing is not mine. But couldn't help posting it.
Sir, but you are endorsing.
One second. My apologies to the person concerned. Okay. He is the best in the art of fooling. Okay. Is this abusive? Retweets are never endorsements.
Digvijaya Singh's comments on Twitter, where he retweeted comments by his own he retweeted his own followers, clearly reflect the Congress party's diseased mindset and its lack of hope for a better future. And today they have actually abused not a leader of the BJP. They have abused the Prime Minister, elected Prime Minister of this country, and they have insulted 130 crore people of India.
That, of course, is the big debate. It seems a week where we've spent so much time just debating online abuse and the positions that political parties are taking on this issue. But really, is there any difference? Everyone seems very guilty of spreading that hate online. Well, let me introduce my panel to you right away. I'm joined by Shehzad Poonawala of the Congress, also a civil rights activist and columnist. RSS ideologue Professor Rakesh Sinha is with us, and Nikhil Pava, entrepreneur and founder and owner Media Nama. Thanks all so much for joining us on the program. Shehzad, let me start by asking you, this reeks of double standards, doesn't it? You want the Prime Minister to unfollow those abusers there, but what about when one of your own is guilty of spreading this kind of abuse and hate?
So, Natasha, I'll tell you why it doesn't reek of double standards. Although I don't speak officially for the Congress party, the Congress party has come out and said that they do not agree with this statement at all, which is different from the BJP, which has defended the Prime Minister following those people. Secondly, Mr. Digvijay Singh has, for whatever it's worth, you may not agree with his justification, but has come and said that my tweet is not an abuse to the Prime Minister per se. I have used that meme, which I would never use, and I don't think anybody in my party would use, but having used it, it is not directed as an abuse to the Prime Minister, but he came out and clarified and took questions. I would love for...
difficult to believe. I'm sorry, I'm just
don't need to believe this. Let me make my larger point. I agree with you, Natasha.
But because he's got an image of, the Prime Minister.
But just one second. I agree with you. And Natasha, I would be very happy if the Prime Minister also came out, like Digvijay Singh, and gave us an explanation about the kind of people he follows. Now, third thing is that abuses and unparliamentary language is a subjective area. Let's keep an objective parameter that the Prime Minister of India follows 1779 people, including heads of states, and not all BJP MLAs and MPs. He follows some select people. Now, some of these select people, as put out by Alt News and by News Laundry, both who have no love loss for the Congress or the BJP, have shown, and one of the tweets I'll show you, Amitesh Singh BJP talks about killing 3,000 Muslims tomorrow. Now, this is a legal threat. We can't go into this grey area of abuse and not abuse. I'm saying this, Natasha, just let me sum it up in one second. I am saying let's keep a parameter that those who make wild threats and make law and order threats and make things which are violative of IPC against women or rape threats, that is something objective. The Prime Minister, the custodian of law and order and constitution, follows them. He may not retweet. Now, Amit Walia says that my Prime Minister has not unfollowed anybody. It's wrong. Amit Walia is wrong because
but
the
is
Prime
there
Minister,
a distinction to be made between, say, following
yes,
somebody or a tweet, a retweet? Is there a distinction that we made?
I'll tell you why. I may not like Digvijay ji's tweet. Digvijay ji used abusive meme, which I do not agree with, my party doesn't agree with. But it does not stoke a communal fire, nor does it challenge the law and order. Prime Minister is following certain people who are challenging law and order, and I'll tell you whom he's unfollowed. Amit Malviya lied that Prime Minister did not unfollow. Amit Malviya should know that Prime Minister unfollowed only one lady, Jwala, who had requested him that a man has molested her. The Prime Minister followed him and unfollowed this girl.
But you don't believe that it's taken the sting out of the attack. Nikhil, it's very early into the program to be holding your head. I'm coming to you in just a bit, but Rakesh Sinha, sir, would you like to respond to that?
Look, Digvijay Singh is not a trawler on social media, and the Congress and certain journalists are presenting themselves that they are the victim of social media, but in social media you just see They are the people who are trolling Prime Minister, who are trolling RSS people, who are trolling everyone. But one-sided picture is being presented by certain people that on social media, they are the people who are Hindutvadi people, they are not Hindutvadi people, they have nothing to do with RSS and BJP. Larger question is that Mr. Digvijaya Singh is a former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Digvijaya Singh is the top leader of constitutes the top leadership of the Congress. He is close to 10 Janpath, and it is not the first time. Infrequently, he has been abusing Prime Minister. And this is the degeneration of the parliamentary democracy. It is not merely he is abusing the Prime Minister, he is degenerating the institution of the Prime Minister. There are two reasons. They are not accepting the mandate. And since 2014, the Congress party has become the party of trawlers. It is the party of trawlers. Just see, even before the Narendra Modi became Prime Minister,
let me finish.
What was the Natasha, let me complete. Yeah. What was the observation of Manishankar Iyer? Manishankar Iyer used abusive statement in the Congress session. Sonia Gandhi was present. Rahul Gandhi was present.
Okay, 1 second.
So this is
you will.
Digvijaya Singh has mandate of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Without the mandate of the top leadership, Digvijaya Singh could not tweet this. And one thing, Natasha, Digvijaya Singh time and again says that it was not the tweet, it was retweet. But on his Twitter handle, there is no declaration that retweet there is no endorsement of the retweet.
Which is what I want to get Nikhil in just a bit. But one second. Mr. Sinha, I just want to ask you one thing, sir. So would this be the best time to sort of, for the Prime Minister to unfollow those people who've been putting out those kind of tweets? Would that really give the BJP the upper hand, you think, in this discourse, if that's really possible?
Look, if the questions are being raised, there are certain people are abusing on social media and Prime Minister is following, and this has been pointed out. Give them chance. If it has been pointed out, Prime Minister may unfollow them, may not follow them. There can be a discourse. There can be healthy discourse. But this is not the answer that you are abusing the Prime Minister. The term used by Digvijaya Singh, the abusive word used by Digvijaya Singh, we can't use. No panelist can use on TV channel. No one can.
But the debate's been going on endlessly.
In public institution.
I see what you're saying, but the debate's been going on endlessly, Mr. Sinha. So when will a call be taken?
Apology to Prime Minister and the country.
Natasha, I have just one small question.
Yeah, quickly before I get Nikhil in.
The small question to Mr. Sinha is that Mr. Modi follows some people who post some things which he can see because on his timeline it appears. The one person he follows said kill 3,000 Muslims. Now abuses are extremely bad, but a threat to kill 3,000 Muslims, when the Prime Minister must have seen that tweet because he follows them, as the law and order custodian of this country, he neither unfollowed nor did he tell the law and order agencies to take action against them. What does that say about the Prime Minister? Let's not put the Prime Minister in the league of an ordinary MP, because I have Subramaniam Swamy's video. If I play it out, Mr. Sinha, Mr. Singh's words will look like out of some other book, and Mr. Swami's language will make you so ashamed of yourself that you will say, I want to quit BJP.
That's really no exit. That's no exit, is it, Shehzad? That he's not the Prime Minister. I agree that the Prime Minister should be held to higher standards. But this is still somebody in the public eye.
I tell you an abuse. It's wrong. But I say I will kill somebody. What is the thing you need to act on?
Just give me 1 second. I need to get Nikhil in. Nikhil, you're seeing this. This is now, of course, a debate after this retweet by Digvijaya Singh. The last couple of days have also been focusing on online hate and abuse. It seems everyone's guilty of it. We've all seen it. It seems to be becoming more vicious. If anyone's views does not match yours, then you can say anything you want in the most vile, in the most dangerous, in the most threatening language and get away with it.
So what started in 2013 was the beginning of an information warfare. Each side is now having a go at each other. Who's suffering is people like us who are stuck in the middle of this. What's happening here is the debate is shifting from policy issues, things that have been happening in parliament, things that are impacting people in real life, to just one side creating an issue one day, another side creating another day. I mean, what do I care? Is my life any better because these guys are having a go at each other every day on one issue or the other, going from issue to issue, distracting from one to the other? What are the real issues? What are the real debates? Those are not happening today. So this is not moving our country forward. This is not moving our people forward. It is just information warfare between two sides, and people like us are just getting stuck and we're suffering.
No,
right? I'm sorry, but this really needs to stop. The problem is there needs to be a sort of an agreement and a disarmament that takes place between both sides, so that things can move forward. We will just keep having these battles for the next 5 years.
There's absolutely no sign of that.
And there
in
is
fact, everyone's sort of
but tell me,
coming
Natasha,
down several notches every day.
I appreciate
It's increasing. Let me just say, it's increasing. The amount of hate, the
I-
violence, the
I-
abuses, they have
I-
only kept
look,
increasing over the
I
last
am
3
a-
years.
Okay.
There is also a great misinformation campaign, and it's happening across the board on WhatsApp, which we can't even track. You're talking about Twitter because you can track it.
Okay.
Where it starts and where it ends on WhatsApp and how long it persists, we have no idea.
And in many ways, it's just more dangerous. We've seen it in sort of
Incidentally,
volatile
the
situations.
Prime Minister also follows a guy who runs a fake news website called Postcard News, which
Okay,
you
but-
guys must be busting.
But
here's the
yesterday
point,
in the BJP
Natasha.
statement, they've also, of course, talked about Tehseen Poonawalla, you
Fair
know,
enough, yeah.
that there has been a mention in that BJP statement saying Rahul is never questioned for the abuse
I
by
will-
Tehseen
I will- I
Poonawalla.
know what-
Kejriwal is never questioned for
Now,
the abuse.
here is
and
the challenge
rape
that I'm
his
throwing to the BJP.
supporters.
Here's the
Sure.
challenge I'm
Yeah.
throwing to the BJP. Show me one follower of Rahul Gandhi on Twitter or of Arvind Kejriwal, his party has also said this, who gives rape threats and death threats and they follow them or endorse them by following them.
Okay.
And my brother is also put in the same league.
Yeah.
My brother is not a member of the party and Rahul Gandhi or Arvind Kejriwal don't follow him. But I am saying whatever, if my brother has abused anybody and that's proven, I have a video of Subramaniam Swamy abusing
Okay, wait,
Sonia
okay,
Gandhi.
okay.
Whatever action they want to take
Okay,
on Subramaniam
okay.
Swamy, take that action on my brother.
let's just-
I endorse that action.
Okay,
Let's,
okay.
that's a challenge.
We
Now,
just- okay.
Giriraj Singh, Sadhvi
Let's just
Jyoti,
leave.
who
Let's
defended
just-
Sadhvi Jyoti.
Okay, let's leave. We're just going to leave the whatabouty aside for a moment. But Mr. Sinha, respond to that because that is what the response has been today. That we've seen the kind of comments that have been put out. Talking about Gauri Lankesh, that she's a bitch who deserved to die. These are people who are getting legitimacy from being followed by the Prime Minister. In the statement by the BJP yesterday, of course, those mentions to Tehseen Poonawalla, followers of Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal. Now, of course, the Congress is categorical, and as is the Aam Aadmi Party, that this is incorrect. How do you respond, Mr. Sinha?
Look, there can be discussion on role of social media, the people's participation in social media, their behavior, their character, and the nature of trolling. But it can't be there can't be equivalence between Digvijaya Singh's statement, Digvijaya Singh's abusive language, and the trawler on the social media. Digvijaya Singh is a member of parliament. Prime Minister is a constitutional institution, and you are abusing the constitutional institution. The kind of abuse you are
Sadhvi Jyoti
posting
was a
on the
minister in the
Twitter,
is a minister.
which can't be used by a kid in the school. What the message you are going to give the posterity?
Does
In
that
fact,
apply to
this is
Giriraj
the-
Singh and
this
Sadhvi
is the sign
Jyoti, sir?
indicative of the degeneration of democracy and the
it apply
Congress
to
culture which
Giriraj Singh and
constituted
Sadhvi Jyoti, sir?
Congress culture meant corruption. Congress culture meant authoritarianism. Congress culture meant dynasty. Now
Does it
Congress culture
apply
also
to
means
people in
abusive
Mr. Modi's
discourse.
cabinet?
Okay,
Yes or no, sir?
Unfortunately, a class of journalists, a class of media people are welcoming Digvijaya Singh, protecting Digvijaya Singh because they consider that anti-Modism is a safe place for the opposition. They lack the vision, and unfortunately, to divert the attention from the failure of the Karnataka government to protect Gauri Lankesh,
Okay.
they are trying to
just-
shift the entire
Fair
debate on
enough,
the
and
social
there should be
media.
questions
Who
that
is
the Karnataka
following Prime
government
Minister,
should
who
answer.
Prime Minister is
Absolutely.
following? These are not the
Natasha.
primary thing.
That's
Natasha.
absolutely, sir. Just one second. Let me just respond to that, sir. Nobody's arguing with that, Mr. Sinha. We, of course, want the Karnataka government to explain why no action in the Kalburgi case. What's happening with Gauri Lankesh? 3 days later, no real breakthrough. Also, the Maharashtra government. What's happening with Dabolkar? What's happening with Pansari? But if you just come to this kind of online hate, which is sort of spreading out there in society, does the Prime Minister following them give them legitimacy? Is this the best time, given that everyone seems guilty of this after Digvijaya Singh's tweet, that the Prime Minister should unfollow them? Do you believe it will set some sort of precedent on this?
In democracy, we can have 100 of suggestions to the Prime Minister, 100 of the criticism of the Prime Minister. But it is our duty who are at the forefront in public life, politicians, journalists, academicians, intellectuals. If we would start comparing ourselves with the people who are trolling on social media and trivializing the entire discourse, then we are sabotaging the parliamentary democracy. We are sabotaging.
But then we are all
ourselves.
guilty of it.
Natasha.
Then everybody.
Today, Narendra Modi is Prime Minister.
Everybody
Tomorrow,
is
Rahul
guilty of
Gandhi
it.
can be Prime Minister.
Okay,
Why
Nikhil.
not? In democracy, the democracy dynamic transformation takes place. But we are harming the parliamentary democracy, healthy tradition. Natasha, you know,
we are all
in
guilty.
our
Wouldn't you
parliament,
agree?
Atal Bihari Vajpayee
Natasha,
and
see how
Hiren Mukherjee was a
smartly
communist
Rakesh
leader.
Sinha is changing the
There
standard.
is a healthy
One second.
tradition of Indian parliamentary democracy.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, just 1 second. I know, Nikhil, you want to come in.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering how much much of this hate and how much of this fake information that's going around is actually user generated, and I mean a lot of it that I see is organized. So can the gentleman from the BJP say, or the RSS say, that there is no organized campaign that's going on, that there aren't people in call centers or operations that are sending messages on WhatsApp that are
institutionalized?
Are there people who are not creating memes, and that applies to both sides actually?
Both sides, yeah.
Listen,
they're all doing it. We are
you
all getting
forgetting the
impacted.
kind
We are
of
all
language being
suffering.
used for Mohan
Natasha,
Bhagwat ji?
you are
Are
not
you
giving me
forgetting
time
the
to ask a
language used for
question, Rakesh
Narendra Modi ji?
Can I ask a question now, please?
Yeah.
Natasha, a lot of these. 1 second, Mr. Sinha.
These are the people. Who lost the power. They can't digest remaining outside the power. Power is appetite for a large section of intellectuals and the Congress leadership.
Okay.
That's why there is a concentration there camp.
Okay, now
Sonia Gandhi used mouth ka
You are
saudagar.
allowing
The
him
day
to say
Sonia
all this,
Gandhi
but you
used
are not
mouth ka
allowing
saudagar.
I am.
Congress has been, so Congress people are
Let me
calling
go
for
on
Sonia
with
Okay,
the
Gandhi.
Mr.
Can
Sinha,
I
1 minute.
finish?
1 minute, Mr. Sinha. Yeah.
The Prime Minister met 150 of these people who regularly abuse women, and not only abuse. I am saying, forget the abuse, it's a subjective standard. I am saying some of these people have FIRs against them. There is one lady called
Mr.
Ritu
Poonawala,
Rathore.
go to the
Please,
court.
sir. Please,
Hang
1
them.
minute, sir.
But
Now,
why are
Rakesh ji,
you
I have not
degrading the
interrupted you.
institution of the
Please,
Prime Minister?
1 second. Rakesh ji, 1 second. Ritu Rathore.
Question of not interruption.
This
You
is
are
interruption.
interrupting the
This is
entire
exactly
parliamentary
troll
democracy.
culture.
It's not the
Okay,
question of me
Please
and
let
you.
me make my
Let him
point.
just
And
respond.
Congress party
Please
is
let me
trying
make
to
my
create
point, Mr.
anarchy in this
Sinha.
country.
You cannot
Okay.
silence me like Gauri
Okay,
Lankesh. You
okay.
cannot
Entire
silence.
discourse
This
has
is not
been-
you. You cannot
That is
silence me.
not-
like
that is
Gauri
not-
the
Lankesh.
level of
Please let me
street
speak.
debate.
Okay.
Please let me speak and make my last
Mr. Sinha,
point.
just 30 seconds of patience, please. Just 30 seconds. Let him respond. I will come back to you.
Ritu Rathore said that a person had been killed by Muslims and she put fake news. UP government had to condemn it and say this was wrong, and FIR complaints have been filed.
You've
Prime
said
Minister
that.
continues
Yeah.
to follow them.
Okay, I
now
just
my
want to ask
question to
you-
you is, my question to you is, abusing, if you take Digvijaya Singh as abused, Giriraj Singh and Sadhvi Jyoti have not given flowers.
I want to
from
just
their
bring you
language.
back. Okay, I see.
I am
I see.
asking the
You
Prime
made this
Minister,
point, yeah.
who is in charge of law and order,
Yeah.
should he follow people giving death threats and rape threats and
Yeah.
communal agenda on social
What
media,
sort
which is
of,
violative?
I want to ask you a separate question. I want to ask you, what sort of action should Digvijaya Singh face?
Okay, now here is the point. I think everybody who uses abusive language, whether they are trolls or whether they are leaders, they must be asked not to use this language, but that is a choice of language. Second is what you say, which is illegal,
Does that
which
make
is
it
a
okay?
violent
It's a
threat.
choice of language.
Have I said that? Has my
So
party
then-
said that?
so then?
I am saying that if I want to be abusive on a platform, I may say a lot of C word, but it is not a legal threat. You can't stop me from using the C word. That just shows my culture, my upbringing. That is one aspect. But what I'm saying is that the legal threat, that is definable, that is actually illegal. And the Prime Minister to follow those who give legal threats
it keeps
is a
coming back to that.
standard.
It keeps coming back to that. Nikhil, we seem to be trapped in this, which is why we're not able to get out. That my choice of words is not as serious as your abuse online. So therefore,
Threat.
as
Breaking
threat,
the law.
No. So listen, no one's endorsing breaking the law
Either
or
way,
threatening
either way,
someone.
either
the
way.
police
We
needs
need
to
to
act on
end
it
to all.
really quickly.
Yeah.
The other thing is that a retweet is not speech. It's basically sharing of what someone else has said. So it's not the same as abusing. I would like that differentiation to be there, because you can't hold someone accountable for what someone else says.
Sure.
Very clearly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
But is that an exit? Is that an easy exit? I mean, in a
what
sense,
sense?
because if you retweet something at someone
you can
who's
be
who's a
criticized for it.
representative, yeah.
No, so there's a difference between responsibility and the accountability. He doesn't have accountability here,
I
but
see.
he's responsible for
Absolutely.
sharing and spreading that information.
Okay.
I don't think there should be any legal action against sharing.
Okay.
But
That's
absolutely,
quite unambiguous.
criticism of doing that is bang on. But what I'm saying is that these are essentially weapons of mass distraction, if you think about it, right?
Right.
All of this going at each other because one is saying something, the other is saying something. Yesterday
Right.
it was Prime Minister's following abusive people. Today it's about his
Digvijaya Singh,
retweet.
right.
Where is this taking us? Nowhere.
Where is this taking? Absolutely. I'm completely out of time, but Rakesh, I know that you've been waiting. I'll give you the last word in 30 seconds, sir, please.
Sonia and Rahul Gandhi's silence is endorsement of Digvijaya Singh's abusive discourse. And they are trying to turn democracy into trollocracy. We can't tolerate the wisdom of the people in this country is for
Silence
Maryada.
of the Prime Minister is an
Maryadic
encouragement and
Rajniti. We have
endorsement
learned
for
from
those who
the-
want to commit
from
riots and
Jameson
kill
to
Gauri
Jameson, there
Lankesh.
should be Maryada
Those who
in
call
politics.
Gauri Lankesh a
And
bitch,
Digvijaya
and the
Singh,
Prime
Rahul
Minister
Gandhi,
sees
Sonia
that
Gandhi
and doesn't
and
do
their
anything,
ilk
is an
in the
encouragement and an
intellectual-
endorsement
in the
of
intellectual
Sanghi
life. Not
culture,
merely these three
imposing
people, but
itself
there are
and
certain-
opposing and
certain
silencing the
classes.
other
Should they
side.
They are
unfollow him?
This,
they have
the Prime
turned
Minister should ask for
anti-Modiism
FIRs to be
as a
lodged
Should
against
his
these
party
people.
leaders
for their
also then
existence.
unfollow him by
Sorry?
that? Should his party leaders, the Congress leaders, also then unfollow Digvijaya Singh? Would that
If
be
they are
fair?
uncomfortable comfortable with Digvijaya Singh's language? Of
okay,
course, because
okay.
they have not celebrated it like the Sangh Parivara celebrated the killing of
But
Gauri Lankesh.
does that make it okay? This is, Nikhil, you said that you're hopeful that this will end and we'll move on to other topics. But as you've seen, that this is, of course, a very charged up debate. We've seen it all week. Will it get any better before it gets worse? That's still the big question. But thanks all so much for joining us. Rakesh Sinha, Shehzad Poonawala and Nikhil Pahwa, thanks all so much for your time this evening.